The strong tree does not announce its height to the forest, it simply grows toward the light. Today, sit with me and let us look at 5 habits the mind must release if you wish to walk through this world with quiet strength. Greetings, I am Heng. Respect is not a thing you reach for, it is a fragrance that rises naturally from a life lived with awareness. If the people around you do not honor your presence, do not look outward in anger, look inward in stillness. What you permit in your life, you cultivate. What you cultivate, grows. Today, let us walk together through 5 habits the mind clings to. Habits that quietly drain your energy and dim your inner light. When these are released, you will not become louder, you will become clearer. And clarity, my friend, is its own kind of power. Observe the bamboo in the wind. It does not justify why it bends. It does not apologize for the sound it makes. It simply moves with the breath of the moment and it remains rooted. When you over-explain yourself, you are not communicating, you are bargaining. You are placing your inner certainty into another person's hands and asking them to weigh it. And the moment you do this, you have already given away your center. Consider, you decide to step away from the noise of social media. Someone asks why. The mind, untrained, begins to defend itself. I have been overwhelmed. I read an article. I am wasting time scrolling. Words upon words, like leaves piling on a clear pond until the water can no longer be seen. But the trained mind says simply, this is what I have chosen. That is enough. A still pond does not explain its stillness. The river does not argue with the stones. It flows around them. When you give too many reasons, you place stones in your own path. The fewer words you speak from a place of clarity, the deeper they land. A master does not raise his voice, he raises his presence. Look at your own life. Where are you placing stones in your own river? With your family, in your work, among your friends? Where does the urge arise to defend a choice that needs no defense? When the urge to explain arises, breathe. Allow the silence to hold your decision. The decision is already complete. Your words cannot make it more so. There is a sickness of the mind more subtle than any illness of the body. It is the constant turning of the head toward others, asking, am I acceptable? Am I enough? Do you approve? This is a heavy chain. And the strange thing is, you are the one holding the key. A friend calls and asks for your time, though your own well is empty. A request comes from work, though your body is asking for rest. And still, the mouth says yes, while the heart whispers no. Why? Because the mind has been trained to fear disappointment more than it fears self-betrayal. But consider, the lotus grows from mud, yet it does not ask the mud's permission to bloom. It does not bend itself into a different flower to please the pond it rises from. If you pour water from your cup to fill every other cup around you, what remains for your own thirst? Compassion is not the same as depletion. To give from emptiness is not generosity, it is a slow disappearing. The wise man helps others from a full cup, not from a cracked one. Begin with this small practice. When a request arises, pause. Take one breath. Ask not, will they be upset? Ask instead, is this aligned with the life I am building? The answer that comes from stillness is the answer worth honoring. You will disappoint some. This is not failure. This is the natural sorting of those who valued your essence from those who only valued your usefulness. Why does the mind run again and again to the opinions of strangers? Why does it hold up its life like a child holding up a drawing, waiting for someone to nod? The child grows, but the habit remains. Now it is no longer a drawing. It is a photograph, a career, a body, a decision. The hand still reaches outward, asking the world, tell me I am enough. But hear this carefully. What is given by the world can be taken by the world. If your worth depends on applause, then silence will undo you. If your peace depends on praise, then a single word of criticism will scatter it like dust. The pine tree on the mountain does not wait for the wind to approve its growth. It does not ask the other trees if its branches are correctly shaped. It simply rises, slowly, patiently, year by year, because that is its nature. Your nature too is to grow. Not to be admired while growing, simply to grow. There is a practice I offer. Each morning, before you reach for your phone, before the voices of others enter your ears, sit for 1 minute in silence. In that silence, the question is not, what will they think of me today? The question is, who am I, before anyone tells me who I am? Sit with that. The answer cannot be spoken, but it can be felt, and the one who has felt it does not need to be told again. A still pond reflects whatever stands above it. If a person stands above you with contempt, and you remain silent, you are not being humble. You are reflecting their contempt back into your own life, again and again. Disrespect rarely arrives as thunder. It comes as drizzle, a small dismissal, a word cut short, a laugh that stings beneath its surface, and the untrained mind says, "It is nothing, let it pass." But water that drips on stone day after day eventually carves a hole. Every disrespect you allow without acknowledgement is a small drop on the stone of your self-respect. After enough years, the stone is hollow, not because anyone struck it with great force, but because you stood there and allowed the slow erosion. There is a story, very old, of a monk insulted in the marketplace. The crowd waited for him to fight, to defend, to argue. Instead, the monk asked the man, "If you offer a gift and it is not received, to whom does the gift belong?" The man answered, "To the one who offered it." The monk smiled. "So it is with your insult. I do not receive it. You may take it back. This is the way. You do not need to fight. You do not need to argue. You simply do not receive what does not belong to you. And in not receiving, you reveal your standard without ever raising your voice. When you know your worth, you will no longer offer yourself at a discount, and those who only purchased you cheaply will quietly leave the marketplace of your life, which is in itself a great blessing. Look closely at the bamboo grove. No two stalks are identical. Some grow tall in the first year, some spend 4 years sending roots into the earth, invisible, silent, and then in the 5th year they rise 80 feet in a single season. Tell me, which bamboo is wrong, which is behind, which has failed? None. Each grows by its own inner law. Yet the human mind, the restless mind, refuses this truth. It looks at another's harvest while ignoring its own seeds. It measures its 3rd chapter against another's 10th. It compares the raw stone of its own life to the finished sculpture in another's hands, and concludes sadly that it has fallen short. This is suffering created by the mind itself. No one has imposed it. You have picked up the measuring stick and beaten yourself with it. The river does not envy the mountain its height. The mountain does not envy the river its motion. Each is whole. Each is doing exactly what it was made to do. When the eye is constantly turned outward, to screens, to others, to imagined races, the inner light dims. But when the eye turns inward and asks gently, "Am I a little more present today than yesterday? A little more disciplined? A little more honest?" Then real growth begins. The only honest comparison is between who you are today and who you were before. The sculptor who stares at another statue never finishes his own. These 5 habits, over-explaining, pleasing, seeking validation, tolerating disrespect, comparing, they are not enemies to be conquered with force. The Shaolin way is not the way of force against oneself. They are simply patterns the mind has practiced for many years, and what the mind has learned, the mind can unlearn. You will not transform in one day. You will transform in one breath, repeated 10,000 times. Each time you feel the urge to over-explain, and you breathe instead, that is one repetition. Each time you feel the urge to please, and you honor your own truth gently, that is one repetition. Each time you feel the urge to seek approval, and you return to your own center, that is one repetition. Each time disrespect arrives, and you do not receive it, that is one repetition. Each time the mind compares, and you return to your own path, that is one repetition. This is the practice, not loud, not dramatic, quiet, patient, daily. The mountain was not built by one mighty thrust of the earth. It was raised grain by grain over an age. And yet, look at it now. It does not need to prove that it is a mountain. It simply is. May you too simply be. The way is open. The breath is here. The moment is now.